down from Tommy neither. When Tommy came up and confronted him about it, he was like, yeah, so pretty much her mouth. I'm a undercover, I'm a undercover, I'm a undercover, What's up, Jules? Diamond Girl here. Welcome back to another commentary recap of Power season episodes. Season 6, let's be clear. Season 6, episode number 7, we are on. Like father, like son. So before we even get into this, let me open up some water, okay? Because I'm mad thirsty. It's mad hot sitting in front of this light in this room talking to you guys, but I absolutely love it. Oh, did anybody else enjoy episode 7, like father, like son, like I did? I don't really know if I have too much points. They're kind of scattered. Let me just take a quick sip. Okay, that's excellent. Excellente. So anyway, let's just get right into this episode because I don't even know where to start, right? It's anyhow, one of the things I must mention about this episode is how Ghost put that gun in his son's face. Yo, this dude, he's relentless to a degree, but come on, like, we know he was not gonna shoot his son. It's more so to teach him a lesson, you know? And as much as he felt it was going to teach him a lesson, we learn later that's not the case. Not even later. It just makes the situation between him and his son worse than what it was. It just makes Tyreek hate him even more for his reasons for hating him. You know what I'm saying? And I don't really know how I would have felt if I had woke up with a gun in my face. More or less from my dad or my mom. I don't know. You know, but this episode, I don't know. You know, my trusty book here. My trusty episode. Sometimes, the episode is so good I speak off the top of my head. Every now and then I gotta refer down to my notes because sometimes it's just so much stuff that's going on in the episode with these characters I can't keep up, and then I want to come back and talk to you guys, and it's just like, oh my living goodness, it's so much. But that was definitely a point I wanted to make, is the fact that Ghost, in his way of teaching his son a lesson, the lesson was to, put a gun in his face. And it's just like, all right, you're teaching him a lesson. You want to show him that he's not smarter than you. Maybe not the smartest tactic in the world, but you know, Ghost figured it worked. You know what? If I was Tariq and my dad did that to me, it would have worked. Like, honestly, after all I've been through trying to be this pill pusher, trying to be this up and coming drug dealer, all of the obstacles I ran into and how much I've gotten out of them, I don't think I would want any parts of it. And I would just move on and go to school, get my degree, and be the guy that my father wanted me to be, and take advantage of the opportunities that my father wants me to take advantage of because my father didn't have them. And I constantly think that that's one of the things that Tariq, at least for me, I think he misses. It's like his father was only a drug dealer because he had to be. Well, I don't want to say he had to be, because everyone has a choice and a decision to make, right? But for the show, this was the best opportunity that Ghost had. And he didn't have the privileges that he has provided his children, for lack of words. And I think that's what he tries to get across to Tariq, but for whatever reason, Tariq doesn't, there's a lot of reasons, right? We know that Kanan is part of the bad influence with Tariq, and although Kanan is no longer around, we do know that Kanan planted a lot of negative seeds to Tariq regarding his father. But Tariq is not a stupid kid, so that was an interesting lesson. I can't imagine how many lessons that my parents had tried to teach me. Clearly, putting a gun in my face wasn't one of them, but anyhow, it's a lesson in that life, and that's the kind of lifestyle that they have, low-key. So I guess that's a lesson he felt would get through to him. And, as we continue to watch on, I don't think it will. I'm sure that it won't. So moving on, again, with the whole Keisha thing. A couple episodes back, Tommy took her to the warehouse, and now Keisha shows up LaKeisha shows up at the warehouse, and she has this back and forth with Tommy's guys. Like, talking about needing to know your place. Like, everybody has to know their place. Everybody. And yeah, you might be the boss's girlfriend without a shadow of a doubt. That's who you are. But that don't mean you call shots. You gotta know your role. You have to stay in your lane. And she gets there, and she happens to stumble upon them when they find the stash that Tariq stole from. And TwoBit, Spanky, and BG, are going back and forth about what happened. And she walks in and she starts making accusations. And I'm like, girl, like, if your job is cleaning money through the salon, clean the money. Why are you even at the warehouse? What are you there for? Okay, maybe she went there to pick up the money. I do understand that. But you don't go there and start calling shots. Tommy calls the shots. I mean, it doesn't even look like your boo is the boss, because you coming in here acting like you are 50-50. You're not 50-50. Not by a long shot. I mean, you can't even hear a cop siren without one thinking it's all over, right? So, I mean, come on. But what I love about that interaction is, while she's blaming them, BG and Spanky back down, but TwoBit is like, nah. The only reason why she ain't getting slapped is because she's Tommy's girl. Because any other chick would have got knocked out, or would have got slapped, or would have got cursed out, or whatever the case may be. But that's the only respect that she's getting, is because she's Tommy's girlfriend. But she's not gonna come in here and accuse me of stealing. He's like, no, I'm not going for that. I'm not. I love that about TwoBit. I love the fact that he, a couple of seasons back, his character, he was Dre's right-hand man. And now he's kind of like for himself, and him and Spanky are cool. But he not backing down. Right-hand man or not, what's right is right, what's wrong is wrong. And I like the fact that he doesn't act like he's scared or anything like that of Tommy or anybody. He's like, yo, it is what it is, or whatever. And he didn't flinch when Tommy came in on it after LaKeisha went home and told him, like, yo, I showed up at the warehouse today and some stuff was missing, and I had a nice little back and forth with TwoBit. And the thing is, although he was disrespectful, I believe him. I don't really think he stole the money. Like, you shouldn't even been having a conversation with him. And I kind of blame Tommy for that, because Tommy should have never took her there. He maybe should have took her someplace else where he keeps his money, or move it so that she can just go to that place to keep her safe, to keep her from being on police radar, etc., etc. Like, this is the thing. Tommy don't think. He thinks up to a point. Ghost thinks past the point. You get what I'm saying? So if there was a better setup and he had to handle things a little differently, she would have never had that back and forth with TwoBit to begin with. Like, why put her at risk? Because, like, dude, he's kind of hot-headed himself. He could have just capped her. Could have popped a cap in her butt and called it a day. And then him and Tommy would just have beef. And it would be neither here nor there with him. But he didn't back down from Tommy neither when Tommy came up and confronted him about it. He was like, yeah, so, pretty much, her mouth. Excuse me, I'm with him on that. I might as well just hold this water. I'm with him on that, because she had no business being there. I keep trying to make sure my teeth doesn't have any lipstick on it, but Oh my God, I'm just so over Lakeisha. I already know, I'm not surprised things went the way they went for her at all. I'm not surprised. She's just not cut out for it at all. She's constantly telling Tommy what needs to be done, how it needs to be done, how he needs to stop involving himself with St. Patrick's, and how he can't trust Tariq anymore, and etc., etc. And it's like, Tommy's a man. He may think a little hot-headed, and he may be a lot short-tempered, but he's been in the game a lot longer than you, boo. He's been doing this since a teenager, if I'm correct. Since high school. I would say he's pretty skillful at what he's doing. He's gotten this far. Of course, he got that far with Ghost, but you get what I'm saying. Like, sis, stay in your lane. Hair salon. Remember that? Stay there. I mean, she couldn't even cook the books without Tasha's help. They had to keep going over it and going over it and going over it. So she's just really not cut out for this type of life. And I'm gonna move on from Lakeisha, because her character at this point really irks my nerves. Really irks my nerves. Or whatever. And then like last thing to say about her is that whole situation with her in the shop. Like, they send this guy to come after her to scare her, TwoBit Spanky, because they are kind of not wanting to have any smoke with Tommy. And she ends up, I think she fared off very well as far as defending herself as best as she could. She grabbed the gun that Tommy gave her. She shot the guy. She killed him. Excuse me. But immediately she's calling Tommy like, you gotta come and you gotta come now. Excuse me. Not even knowing what he's mixed up in at that moment. And of course that was at the moment where he was having his little discussion with TwoBit regarding her. But she's like, you gotta come now. And I get the whole girlfriend-boyfriend thing, but again, as I've said in previous videos, being a girlfriend in that lifestyle, or being a wife, which I could never do and did not do, don't plan on doing, don't want to do it. I'm sorry, I love coin, but not like that. They constantly put their lives in danger. I'm talking about drug dealers, right? Because again, I've had friends who've dated them. No need for me to go in detail because it's so many years ago. That's in the past. Nobody cares. So the thing is, their lives are constantly in danger. Constantly in danger. They gotta watch out for competitors. They gotta watch out for people who are under them that want their spot, etc., etc. If you've seen a bunch of crime movies like I have, you kind of get the gist of the type of life that they live, right? So they never know when they're going to walk out and get capped, never know when they're going to walk out their door and be killed, etc., etc. And I don't know why they fixed his character this way, but he's just not getting it. Keisha's a weakness. She's an opening for him. And I believe that's one of the things that TwoBit and Spanky was saying, like, in the process of him firing them prior to her calling because of what happened to her, is that she's a liability. And in fact, she is a liability. She's a liability only because he cannot balance the relationship and his lifestyle the way Ghost has done. And she's just a liability, which just brings us to her hair salon where she shot this guy and she's crying and screaming. And I truly understand that, because I too would have been shaken up. But she's, like, oh, she's not cut out for this and la, la, la. And Tommy's like, well, I think he had a moment where he's just like, okay, Keisha, first of all, you need to calm down. Two, we got to get rid of this body. And sometimes you can't call what's going to happen. Like, this is going to happen in this type of life, so boo, like, it's you or them, for lack of words. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? You want to get to the money, but you don't want to deal with all that comes with getting to the money, right? Because when you get to the money, like OT Genesis said, everybody gonna be mad, right? Everybody mad. Hey. I'll be getting to the hey, everybody. Hey. I'm sorry, y'all. I love the jams. So you know, he had to like school her. Like, boo, this is how it's going to be at times, you know. It's not always going to be smooth sailing. It's not always going to be clean. You know, people are going to come after you, that type of thing. And I'm just like, get rid of her. She's a liability. Listen to the guys, you know, or keep her as far away from it as you possibly can. Keep her from it because she's not cut out for it. I can't say it enough. I can't say it enough. I can't say it enough. I think I've said it in almost every video. So the next point I wanted to touch on tonight's episode, Like Father, Like Son, is Jason. He causes Tommy and Ghost to work together. And he pretty much tells them, like, if either one of you kill the other person, I'm going to kill you. And it's just like, I don't think Jason realizes how he's setting himself up, because Ghost is not going for it. He may not show he's not going for it, and that's the thing I love about him. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. It's the diabolical of it. Like, he's not going for it, but he's not going to let you know he's not going for it. He may, you know, back down some of that alpha, some of that King Kong beating on his chest, but trust and believe he coming for you. He coming for you. He's coming, you know. And I don't think Jason realized how much he's setting himself up for his downfall. But you know what? That's just how they roll. That's just how it goes, you know. But I believe this is where, like, Ghost is telling Tommy, like, you know, we're gonna have to get him. We're gonna have to get rid of him. Even though I mentioned it in last week's episode, and again, I have to apologize, but I don't know if I'm going to keep apologizing. I mix a lot of the episodes up because there's so much. I can literally talk this whole season out without watching it. Real talk. Without looking at notes. Hashtag superfan. You know, but you know they're going to get rid of Jason eventually, because Jason is a liability as well. He's a problem. And he's a threat also. And Ghost is not trying to hear that. And I just like that, because Ghost is just like, all right, I may have this issue here, this issue here, this issue here, and this issue here, but I'm going to be strategic about how I get rid of and eradicate each issue, how I'm going to resolve each issue. I love that. I love a thinking man. Lord, I love a thinking man. And he is definitely a thinking man. So the last point I want to touch about Like Father, Like Son is, no matter how much Ghost keeps expressing, even to his soon-to-be ex-wife Tasha, that Tariq will have a better life than he had, as well as Yaz. But since Yaz is a baby, right? So there's not too much on Yaz. They don't really focus on Yaz too much because she's the baby. And the twin is gone, right? She died. She took a bullet for her brother. So he keeps expressing, whether it's to Tariq or to Tasha, that Tariq will have a better life. He wants Tariq to be a better man than he was, and that is go to school, get an education. Well, it's funny how Tasha doesn't seem to think that that's appropriate. At least in my eyes, she doesn't seem to think that that's appropriate. She seems to think that, I'm sorry guys, I'm just checking the mic. Sorry, I'm looking down. I just want to make sure I'm talking, you guys can hear me. She doesn't seem to think that. You know why? Because she's all about that dollar. That almighty bag. Like, and she doesn't care, seemingly, at what risk or what measure needs to be taken. She welcomes her son into the drug game. So you got one parent that's like, no, I don't want you to do this. And the other parent is like, well, since you're doing it, I might as well school you, because you got the idea of it, but you're not smart enough to play the game. You get the concept, but you don't know how to carry it out. And was I disappointed? No, because Tasha, she don't have no sense, no good sense, none at all. So I just was like, you know, even if they don't agree as husband and wife, as ex-lovers, as ex-companions, they do have their child. Their child is what they have in common. And even if they don't both see eye to eye on how they're raising him, co-parenting, why do you want your son to be a drug dealer? I mean, you already dealing drugs out of your druggy daycare, as Ghost constantly says. Why do you want him to go down this path? And your excuse is, or maybe I'm, pulling it from a later episode, but I'm going to say it now, is because you're trying to save him. You already lost one child? Chick, girl, boo-boo, honey, baby, he's already gone. Okay, the kid has been through a lot up until this point, and now he's just rebelling because he's finding out how much you guys lied to him. And you have one parent trying to reinforce the positive, and then you're the other parent who's not reinforcing the positive because you about that dollar. So it's like, okay, he's trying to deal drugs. Let me show him how to do it so he doesn't get caught. That disappointed me because I'm like, yeah, I guess it did disappoint me. I wasn't really feeling that about her character, but I understand that this is how it has to go so that we all can end up where it ends. But right there, to me, that was like a poor parenting. And I'm not a parent, so I guess I don't have a right to say what good parenting is and what poor parenting is, but that right there was a no-go. Absolutely not. She should have been reinforcing what Ghost, or James, because he doesn't want his son to refer to him that way, or for that matter anybody. And that's one of the things that I love, because every time you see someone refer to him as Ghost, now that he's a changed man, he tenses up and he gets mad and he pushes those lips out, and I'm just like, people are only going to keep you where they see you, no matter how far past you've gone from that. That's people for you. But instead of her reinforcing what he's trying to do, she comes against it because of her own issues that she has with him, instead of seeing eye to eye with him on that. If the kid rebels, he rebels, but she literally just helps him hate his father even more, for lack of words. So anyway, that's all I have for you tonight. Like Father, Like Son, episode 7, recap of that episode of this season 6. I'm having a ball doing it with you. I'm loving watching it again. If you're not a part of the Jewel Empire, as I always say, please, I welcome you with open arms. Please subscribe. Join this empire. We are having a ball over here watching Power. Leave your comments below on what you thought about this episode. Hopefully you're recapping it with me. You're watching it with me. Tell me some of the things that I might have missed that you found that were important to you. I would love to read about it. I would love to talk about it, I guess, in another video, if so. And don't forget to subscribe. If you're not subscribed, don't forget to hit that notification bell, turn it on, make sure you smash it, so this way you don't miss an upload when Diamond Girl uploads a video. I'm glad to be with you guys, and as we journey on down this road to find out who it is that shot Ghost, I will see you next week on another commentary recap of Power Season 6. Mwah.